In this video today, we're going to be looking at the bot we set up yesterday in Cryptohopper. The video yesterday was called Setting Up a New Low-Risk Strategy Automated Trading Bot, and today is the results after approximately 24 hours. And here is that video on YouTube. Okay, so let's have a look and see what has happened. It's not done too badly considering what has happened with Bitcoin. Let me just find the time that we started this bot. Oh, we started this bot at, what was it, around 2:45, 3 p.m. So this is what Bitcoin has done. It's kind of sideways, if you'd agree. A bit of a dump after starting, then pump, dump, pump. Alright, so the bot was started. Let's have a look. Vertical line. We started here. Started there, on that candle. And that's Bitcoin. And obviously, other things have done a similar thing at the same time as Bitcoin. Alright, so that's what's happened. We have made profit, not that much. Bear in mind what Bitcoin did since we started the bot. No losses, obviously. All the trade history here. So in this update, I'm gonna tell you about any tweaks that I would make or not make to this bot. Alright, so there's the profits it's been making. The lowest was 1.01%. And it's got some more. Let's have a look. No, that's all of them. Alright, so the first trade, let's have a look. I'll click on trade history again, it'll reload this page. The first trade came in at 336. And so that is, what time is it now? Let me look. It's now 1:43. So this bot started, if it's 1:36, 22 hours ago. So it's not even a full 24 hours yet. And it's doing alright. It's holding its own, despite what's happened with Bitcoin. And it's got some profits in, which I'm quite impressed by. But could it have been better? Now, as you can see, we've got one position trying to buy, and that's been there for 2 hours because it's a trailing stop buy, and it's got a few slightly in profit now. It's got 16 open positions. Those are the last 5 positions that it's sold, and they're all sold today. 9:55 this morning, right up to, what's that, half an hour ago? Yeah, half an hour ago. And yeah, it's not doing bad, considering what Bitcoin's done. It's only 0.13% profit. You know, that can, once Bitcoin starts pumping and all the other alts follow along, it should do better. So the settings are quite reasonable, but is there anything I would change? Alright, let's have a look in the config. Alright, let's have a look. So we'll be looking at the trailing stop loss, and trading stop buy, I think that's alright as it is. Strategy's okay, it's doing pretty well. Buy settings, the buying amounts. Alright, I'm going to reduce the 3 open positions per coin. Alright. I'm going to make it only allowed to open 1 position of Bitcoin. 1 position of Bitcoin and 1 position of all the others. Alright. After sells, I'm going to tweak this. After buys and sells, make it 1 hour. Alright, a bit longer. So it's going to cool down. If it sells Bitcoin, it's not allowed to buy Bitcoin again for at least 1 hour. Alright, that's what that does. And if you tweak that, obviously it's going to be 4 hours. Keep it at 1 for now. This is the tweak I'm making. That's all good. That's all good. Click on save. Now, coins and amounts. Would I change anything in here? No, not really. Not really. Nah. I'll leave it at 1%. That's good. Trailing stop buy, leave that. Sell settings, no need to change anything there. Sell strategy, nothing is switched on. Stop loss, no, not using it. Don't like it. Always lose money with it. Trailing stop loss, 1.5, 0.4. I was actually thinking, you know, should I just sell everything once it reaches 1.5%? No, just to avoid those little 1.1% profits. As soon as it hits, you see, you could miss out on profits if you switch that off. If I was to switch this off here, and I was to go into here and just type in 1.5 into there, it would sell everything when it gets to 1.5%, regardless if it's going to go down or up after that. Alright? But that kind of limits you to a maximum of 1.5%, unless there's some slippage to the upside, which can happen. You can sell at 1.5, and when the actual position sells a few milliseconds or seconds later, you can end up with 1.6 or 1.7 with slippage, but you can also end up with 1.4 or 1.3 with slippage. Slippage is something that happens even with manual trading. It's just the price changes after that order has been made. It's not an instant sell, because if the price changes at 1 millisecond after or 1 millisecond before, you know, you can get a slight difference with slippage. It's called slippage. Alright, so it means the market price has changed between the bot selling or you selling manually and the actual order going through and being sold. Alright, because maybe another 10,000 people on that exchange are selling at exactly the same price, and they sell and the price changes a little bit, and you know, slippage. But it can work in your favor sometimes. Alright, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave that at 1,000. Sell strategy, no. Trailing stop loss, should I tweak that? I'm going to go for 1.7. Call it 1.75. And I'm going to tweak that to 0.5. Alright, so I'm hoping for at least 1.25% on each trade. At least 1.25%. Bear in mind the slippage can happen. So you might get 1.1, 1.2, you might get 1.3, 1.4. But that little 0.5% difference, if I can just show you on a chart. Alright, so let's say we get a sell order, and you know, it comes up to that 1.75%. Let's say this is 1.75% profit. Alright, so now it sells, but then it comes back down after. So it was a good place to sell in that instance. Alright, but what if it sold here, the top of this red candle there? Alright, then it went down slightly. Right, so let's say it hit 1.75%, and then let's say it came down 0.5%, and then it sold. But look what happens after. Alright, So this won't be 1.5, but you know what I mean. That's only 0.16, so that would not have sold. Alright, so let's say your 1.575% profit has been reached there. The trailing stop loss gets armed, and it has to drop 0.5% before it sells. So it'd have to drop all the way down there before selling, and you would get 1.25% profit, because maybe you bought back down here somewhere on the chart. Alright, so do you get me, guys? So giving it slightly more wiggle room is beneficial in one way, because it might catch a bigger pump. Alright, so like here, for example, if it reached 1.75% up there in profit and activated the trailing stop loss, well, what's that drop there? Well, there you go. It would sell there. So you get your 1.25%, and look what happens after. This is why trailing stop loss is cool. Look what happens after. It drops even more. Yeah. So the good thing about trailing stop loss is you get out of the trade, but you're not getting out too soon, because possibly it will pump up further. As long as it doesn't drop 0.6%, it will stay in the trade and follow it up further. Alright? Trailing stop loss is cool, guys. Alright, back here. So, instead of 0.4, which might be a little bit too tight, I'm going to give it 0.5 in there. And I've tweaked that up a little bit. And that should be better. But it also means it might take longer for a trade to play out. Now, the idea is, with Cryptohopper, and the strategy that I like to use is get in and out of trades as quick as possible. If you can get into 10 trades on Bitcoin in 10 hours, and you can make, I don't know, 1.5% on each of those trades, well, that is going to make you a total of, you've guessed it, 15%. Alright, but if you only went into one Bitcoin trade and went for a 15% profit, you might never get there for days and weeks to get to that 15%. It is often better to do frequent, multiple, small profit trades in the long run. They make more money for you because it compounds more as well. Alright? So if you make let's say you make 5% on one position, and you bought Bitcoin for $100. Alright, you make 5%. You're getting, and let's say, alright, let's say something's really pumpy, and it goes up that 5% in, I don't know, call it 10 hours. Alright, 10%. 5% in 10 hours is pretty good. But what if you could have done like multiple? You could have done 10 trades for 2% each. Well, that could have been 20% profit instead of 5% profit in 10 hours. That's a very simplistic way of explaining it, but you know, shooting for smaller profits is often more profitable than going for the bigger profits. Does that make sense, guys? When you use Cryptohopper and you experiment with these things, you'll see for yourself how this works. So, imagine you got a $100 trade and you get 5% in 2 hours. Or you've got a $100 trade and you get 2% in 1 hour. If you make 10 of those trades in 10 hours times 2% on each trade, well, that's 20% profit instead of 5%. Makes sense? Alright, and it's compounded. So you get, let's say it's a $100 position, it sells at 2%, you get back $102. Then you get into another new trade, alright, with that $102. Are you getting the picture here, guys? You're compounding here. Alright, that's a very simplistic way of looking at it. I know it doesn't actually go like that. You might not get 10 trades in 10 hours. You're probably not going to. But that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get lots of frequent in and out trades as quick as possible. And obviously they don't always happen quickly. Sometimes they take hours and days just to get up to 2% even. Alright? But the idea is, don't be too greedy. Alright? Don't go sticking in, well, I want 25% profit on there and I'm going to give it, 5% drop. So I'm getting at least 20%, because you might be waiting months for that trade to play out. It's better to get that money out with a little bit of profit and then get into a new trade. Alright? Put this back to 1.75 and this to 0.5. There. Alright, so that is the only couple of tweaks I would make, and maybe, because I've got 3 DCA max retries, that means each position can be DCA'd 3 times once they get to minus 6%. I'm just going to tweak that to minus 9 and make it slightly safer. Alright, so it's not spending as much if there is a crash. Alright, so the best way to go with Cryptohopper is, at any given time there can be a market dump, there can be a crash. Bitcoin can drop 15-20% for no reason at all until later when you find out it was the SEC doing this, or some big whale had come in and sold $500 million worth of Bitcoin which crashed the market, or these things happen. It's crypto, and you have always got to be ready for these market crashes. Alright, and that's why we do the DCAs. Crypto is prone to crash, just like stock market. There's dumps all the time. So don't expect everything to just go up in a straight line. It doesn't. You can see. Let's have a look at the weekly chart on Bitcoin. You can see the last bear market. Even in the bull market last time, we had a crash or a correction of, this is the bull market here, all the way from here to here. That's a bull market. That's not a bear market here. That is a correction inside of a bull market. Look how much we dumped. 55% we went down. So I measure it again. We dumped 55%. Why is it double clicking there? Alright, it dumped 55% in a bull market. Alright? You don't want DCA set to minus 2% or something like that, because it would buy more here, buy more here, buy more here, buy more here, and by the time you get down to here, you run out of money and you have to watch and be in pain all that way down, and then wait for it to come back up all the way. Weeks and weeks and weeks of recovery. Yeah, does eventually come back, and then it exceeds the last highest price. So you would have been alright buying there and holding all that way down and all that way back up. You'd have been alright as long as you didn't panic sell down here. You'd have been fine in the end. But look at how long you would have had to wait. On the top of there, is 30 weeks. 30 bars is 30 weeks. That's more than half a year. Right? 7 months, is it? Now, last bear market. That's your last bear market there. 2 years, I think. from right here right to the bottom, which was around February, March last year. So that was from the top to the very bottom was just over a year. But we were suffering a lot of pain going sideways for longer than that. Till about, I'd say there, 500 days since there to there. So going from June 22 to around September 23. A long time sideways. I call this sideways. There's quite a few ups and downs. You know, it went down to 16k and it pumped to 30k in that time, which is a reasonable pump. It's like 100% pump. But look what it's done since. It recovered. All right. It is painful when you've got bags from buying up here, all the different alts and whatnot. You know. It's painful, and you probably will get caught out. Even I do, and I'll probably get caught out again. The top of the next bull market, I'll still have some bags, but as long as I can get most of my money out at the top of this next bull market and be ready to get in again when we get down to this kind of region again where the bottom of the bear market is hit, which obviously I don't think it'll get as low as that again on Bitcoin. I think the next bear market bottom could be around 30,000 or 40,000. Alright? So it could pump up over 100k in this coming bull market, could go to 150 or something, and then it could dump, alright, back down to 30, 40k, but I really don't think it'll come much further than that. Who knows? Who knows? But hopefully we will know at the bottom of the next bear market it's time to start the Cryptohopper bot going like crazy again, to start accumulating, yeah, start making money all the way back up again. So you're not too late for Cryptohopper. If you want the secret sauce, which should get you on average, guys, I haven't got an average of 1.05% for the last 3-4 weeks because the market has been more sideways than up and down. Alright, and that's the way it goes. Sometimes you don't get your 1.05%, but maybe next month is going to be super bullish after the halving, and maybe I'm going to get 2% average per day or 3% average per day. Who knows? And that will make up for this crappy month that we're having now. Does that make sense, guys? You cannot expect to start the bot and immediately get 1.05% every single day from starting the bot. It doesn't happen like that. Some days are crap. Some days are meh. Some days are just a little bit good, and some days are absolutely incredible. Alright? In the last bull market, there were days I was making $0 for weeks at a time because everything was in the red after a market crash. I didn't panic sell, I kept them. Everything. Alright? And then, after everything started pumping again, everything came back up into the green, and I was getting several $100 days in a row, a week in a row. I've got $300 that day. Oh, blimey, $650 that day. Oh, blimey, $200, $300, $500, $600. Those days are the ones that make up for the crappy times. The crappy times like the time we're having now, where Bitcoin is just doing a lot of sideways, and it's kind of trying to break out of that triangle there that you can see. Alright, so here's what I think is happening. I'm not very good at TA. What I think could be happening is we're in this triangle here. We came out of it, which was a fake out, and then it dumped back into it. Let me go on the 4 hour, it's easier to see. I should not be doing TA because I'm not good at it, guys. Let me just hide that indicator because it's... Alright, here's what I think is happening. We broke out, everybody's going yay, 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 but it ended up being a fake out, guys. And then we came back into that triangle. Now here's what I think is happening. We've come up out of that triangle, we've come back down just like we should to retest that downward sloping support of that triangle, turning that diagonal line there into a new support, and it's bounced off it, look, which is what we want. Alright, now we could be going up to 85k or something next, and who knows, it might go sideways and then it might pump, or it might even just dump down. That's why I say to you guys, always be ready for a market crash. And if you play it where you're always careful with your Cryptohopper, you don't allow it to spend too much at any time, alright, the more money you keep in reserve for after a market crash, and the better you will do, because you're leveraging that money after a crash at the best time. Because after a crash, how likely is it to crash again? Yeah. Once things start going sideways again, accumulating, consolidating, alright, that's when you after a crash is when you should go in more aggressive. And by more aggressive I mean DCA, guys. Alright, back to the dashboard. I might have to log in again. No. Alright, look at that, 2 hours. It still hasn't bought. That is because Tron has not dropped 0.5%, so it has not yet been able to buy. And that's okay. If it fails, it fails. Doesn't matter. Other trades will come up. Now, I have $851 in reserve, and there is $147, call it $150 in play in open positions. That position there is the worst at -5%, and it is 47 cents down. That -5% for a position size like that is nothing, guys. It's not even 50 cents in the red. It's nothing. Alright, so when that gets down to where was that DCA we tweaked? It's got to get down to 9%, and then it will spend another it will buy another 9 FTM coins, which will be a little bit cheaper than $8.78 at that time. But I like to round it up for simplicity. I like to call this is a $10 position. Alright, so it's going to spend another $8 or so on 9 FTM once the price drops to -9%, and I'm hoping it does drop to -9%. If it doesn't, and it comes up and recovers and sells at 1.5%, alright, I'll take that. But if it DCAs and then recovers up to 1.5%, I'm going to get 1.5% on top of a $16 trade instead of an $8 trade. And that is more. This is how we make up for the crappy times. Alright, so if you want the secret sauce, guys, link down in the description. Average 1.05% profit per day. If you started with $630 like I did in the last bull run, and you use my settings plus a couple of tweaks that I've got for you, my secret sauce settings plus a couple of tweaks to suit the current market, you could, in theory, do better than me in the last bull run. Alright, because of the tweaks and because of things I've learned in the last 4 years with Cryptohopper, things I do differently. One of them I'll give you for free is sometimes when a position was like, okay, like that one there, just a couple of percent down, I would look at FTM on the chart and I would say, right, my auto DCA was set to -5% in the in the bot, in the settings, in the config. And I would sometimes look at the chart and I would go, hey, we're looking really bullish on FTM right now. Okay, so I don't care if it's only 2.58% now. I'm going to do a DCA on that now. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to create a DCA order because I think it's going to pump now and I want that position size to be bigger. Big mistake. It can work out most of the time, but then there's that 10% of the time. Oh, it's just, oh, look at these. Oh, look at that. So it's just found 3 new positions to buy. Cool. So what was I saying? It buys, so that position there would turn into an approximately $18 position, and it would now be, instead of being 2.5% in the red, it would be 1.25 because it has reduced that percentage. All right, but then that 10% of the time where it doesn't work out and it's not actually bullish, it crashes further down. Big mistake. Don't do manual DCA at silly percentages like only a couple of percent, because look at that. At the end of the day, it's only 24 cents down. It's nothing. Out of $10, 24 cents is nothing. Let it drop a good chunk and let the bot take care of the DCA. The less you interfere with the bot, the more money you will make. I promise you. You do not have to sit here staring at this bot, worrying about it all the time. It's best to walk away and let it do what the settings are allowing it to do. Alright? One position has just been bought because there were 4 there. So where's oh, I thought there were 4. I'm just imagining things. Alright, so we've got 16 positions there and another 3 positions potentially opening soon. If EOS drops 0.5%, it will buy. You can see the numbers changing here. That's the current price of EOS. You can see these prices changing. Once it drops 0.5%, it will buy, which is exactly what I want. Yeah, EOS and VET, just 2. Trailing stop buy order. Alright, so I made a couple of small tweaks, not too much, nothing too drastic, from 6% to 9% DCA, just because of my own market sentiment. Alright, I don't know if there's going to be a dump before the halving, so I'm being cautious. We're only 8 or 9 days until the halving, and then after that, well, it could be a little dump after, could be a little dump before or during, could be a 10% dump, could be a 20% dump, don't know. It might not dump at all. Got the Hong Kong ETFs that may be approved at the end of this month. That will bring a lot of money into Bitcoin if they get approved. So a lot of things are different about this bull market. This is a 4th bull market now, or is it the 5th? It's the 4th bull market now, and things are a little bit different to the last 3 bull markets. There's always that unknown element of the ETFs, and the Bitcoin halving happens, and then we go on a mad bull run. Alright, so I'm expecting it's either going to be insane or it's going to be just as crazy as the last bull run. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good, and but it could be really, really good. Yeah, so I'm ready. I'm ready. Are you guys ready? Get your bots set up. All right. Take it easy until the halving. Right. Be conservative. Don't be too greedy. And then after the halving, if it has dumped, then get a bit more aggressive. And when I say get more aggressive, I mean along the lines of going in your config and maybe putting that up to 3% with a 1% drop. Alright? More aggressive, because it is easier to get bigger profits on each trade when everything's really bullish. You know, I've even been up here before. Oops, I meant to put 5 in there. I've been up there before, and it reaches them. But bear in mind, it can take longer for that trade. Got to find a balance. But for right now, on this test strategy, I feel fairly safe around there. Easily achievable, and hopefully not too long. So I'm going to bring you a new update tomorrow on these new settings. So it'll be a 48-ish hour update. Let's see if things have improved. Bitcoin could improve. Bitcoin could start flying anytime now, and that will improve things, you know. But if it goes the same as it has done the last 24 hours, let's also see if this has improved. Alright, so we're looking for more profit than that. It's not enough profit. Let's go in the compounding calculator. And let's put in $1,000 with 0.13% compounded for 365 days, that's a year, reinvesting the whole shebangle, and calculate it. $606. It's not much, but you know, it's better than any bank account will give you. $1,000 turned into 1,600. Now bear in mind, you've got the cost of the bot. Alright, but obviously you don't take money out of the bot to pay for the bot. That would be mad. You want to be putting more money in the bot, if anything. Alright, but I would not be happy with 0.13% per day. I would want at least 0.5%. 0.5% is really good. Alright, I can turn $1,000 into $6,000 with just 0.5%. Alright, but my secret sauce, on average, 1.05. I can turn $1,000 into $45,000. If I attain that, if I maintain, if I retain, attain, maintain, if I consistently, that's the word, if I consistently get 1.05% average, that could be 0% today, 0% tomorrow, 0%, you know, all the way up to next week, and then a week of 1%ers days, and then a week of 3%ers. On average, when I'm averaging it all out, 1.05 is doable with the secret sauce. Alright, so if you want that secret sauce, let me know by clicking the link down below. You'll find a link. First link, go to my website, watch the little video, contact me on Skype, tell me which plan you've got through my link. Not for the free trial, guys. The secret sauce is not for the 3-day free trial. No, no, no. Alright, once you bought a plan, tell me what plan you bought, tell me when you bought it, tell me within 5 minutes of buying it, send me a message so I know I can match it up with you. I can say, that plan there, that certain person there has got the adventurer plan. I know it's him because he's just sent me a message. Yeah, I'll know that's you. Alright, and I will send you the secret sauce and help you out on Skype. Alright, Greg, I've just been helping you out on Skype, haven't I? Spent about an hour with you. Greg is in South Africa. Greg, just leave me a comment if you're watching this video on YouTube, just to confirm that I was helping you out for an hour before I made this video. Okay, and well, actually, I can prove that. I just open my Skype. Just open my Skype. It was a 15-minute call, got disconnected, and then it was a 49-minute call. There's Greg. Hey, Greg. Alright, I'm looking at you. Alright. So, guys, if you need help, link description. Sign up, Cryptohopper, no extra cost to you. I will give you the secret sauce. I will give you my assistance on Skype. I will help you out. Make sure all your settings are good, etc. Yeah? I will problem solve for you if you run into problems. Oh God, look at that. That one down there has dropped to 0.1%. Just the nature of the market. Things have gone down a little bit further. These drop a little bit more. That number drops. It's normal. This is unrealized loss, by the way. That's what we call unrealized loss. Alright? And that's unrealized gains. And these profits here are realized gains. Alright? Guys, I've been waffling on too long. Like, comment, subscribe and share, and let me know on Skype if you get a plan through my link, and I'll help you out. Alright? I'll see you again in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye, guys.